It's live.
I can't see it. I told them to let us know they can see it. Caitlin says you.
Should I go ahead and start? Should I wait?
I would wait until 7. I see you too.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Greg here from the Kindergarten Smorgasboard. Now that we've entertained you for a nice long 5 minutes, we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we got everything up and running before 7 o'clock. And so we were waiting until 7 o'clock to actually get started. So that's why you saw me sitting here acting like a weirdo. That and there's no tired like taking kindergartners to the zoo tired. Beginning of the year tired, end of the year tired. Nothing like going to the zoo for the last field trip of the year. But it was a blast, and we had fun, and nobody got lost. Nobody got eaten by crocodiles, and we made it back safely and ended our day with an ice cream party. So we are exhausted, but here we are, ready for another fun hour of submissions for Smorgie. So let's get started. First things first, make sure you head over to the blog, thekindergartensmorgasboard.com, to enter the giveaway. Tonight we have 2 gift certificates to teachershirts.com. They're a phenomenal company. They make amazing t-shirts for teachers. I have several of their shirts. I know them personally. They're great people. Seriously have some awesome t-shirts. I'm wearing one now. They sent it to me as soon as I saw it a couple years ago. I had to have it. It's true. We also have 1 year for ESGI, the online assessment tool. That's a $200 value, and we'll be giving away $25 to my TPT store. So make sure you head over to the blog, thekindergartensmorgasboard.com, and get entered. And you must be present in the live chat to win. And we'll give those prizes away right at the end at about 7:55 or so. So make sure you're present in the chat. Make sure you get entered. And let's get started. Do we have any questions?
Karen wants to know how many field trips you get each year.
Well, it's a little tricky in our district. This year and last year, our principal has said as many as we want. But I think district policy says 1 per semester, and a lot of it comes down to funding. We have to pay, of course, for the admission to wherever we're going, and we have to pay for the buses, which are pretty expensive. And the cost of the bus only covers about 3 hours, so we have to pay for any time that's over that as overtime. So then it gets more costly. But we try to do at least 2 a year. I think this year we might have done 3. Our school is right by the state fairgrounds, so we get to go to the state fair every year. We went to the pumpkin patch. We went to the zoo. Last year we went to the children's theater. This year my kids got to go to an Amazon Christmas party, but that was nice because it didn't cost us anything. So we try to do at least 2 a year, and I think if we wanted to do more, I know our principal would be willing as long as we could cover the funding.
Andrea Simmons wants to know if you have an end of the year celebration with your kinders.
Hey, Andrea. We do. I'm not a kindergarten graduation person. So we don't do a big elaborate graduation in kindergarten. What I do is I take all of the pictures that I've taken throughout the course of the year, and I go through them, and I put together a little video. Of course, I set it to music, and I put that on a DVD, so all of the parents get a copy of that, so they'll always have that. So I invite the parents in, we watch the movie together, and then I give out awards to the students, and my awards are personalized for every child. So this year I have a little girl who pretty much every single day of the year has worn a different hair bow. And so her award will be, she gets the award for best hair accessories. So we do little fun personalized awards. So everybody gets an award. It's not a graduation. It's not a woohoo, you passed kindergarten, because I have one this year that's going to be retained. So we just do something very simple and intimate with the families, and we just celebrate our year together.
Valerie wants to hear about your year-end countdown. She wants to know if you think if it actually helps end of year drain, or does it make it worse?
Oh, I totally think it helps. We started at Z and we count backwards, which has been nice this year because we started our year with the ABC boot camp. And so we started with A and went through Z for the first 26 days of the year. And now the last 26 days of the year, we're starting with Z and going backwards. Most of the days are just pretty simple, low-key kind of things. Like tomorrow for H is hat day. Low-key, simple, but it's fun. It changes it up a little bit, so it keeps, the kids excited. It keeps us excited. Then some days are going to be, a little more involved. Like today was ice cream day, so that was a little bit of work. We're doing a beach day for B. So that would be a little bit more work, but that's, right at the end. So it'll be fun. So there's some of the days that could be like, whoo, that was a lot of work, but in the end, it's worth it. The kids are loving it. At the end of the day, they're already talking about what the next day is, what the letter is, what we're going to do to celebrate. So it's a lot of fun, and I don't think it's too draining. And, like today was a long day. We had the zoo, and then we had ice cream, but it's totally worth it, and it's so much fun. And if you're interested in that, you can go to the Facebook page and the blog and find our list of activities for the alphabet countdown.
Alan wants to know, how intense is your end of year testing for progress monitoring?
Hey, Alan, our district uses AimsWeb. So they'll do the they've already done it actually. My kids finished yesterday. So they just go and do the literacy and the math AimsWeb testing, and then we'll get the data hopefully fairly soon. Then as far as like anything else, like we do our TLA, our text level assessment or running records. So we'll have their end of the year reading level. And then we use ESGI to do our report card assessment. So we'll assess all of the kindergarten standards to make sure that everybody has either mastered those or at least made some progress towards those. So really for us, our end of the year testing isn't that bad. And for like AimsWeb, it didn't even register on my radar until they came to start pulling my kids yesterday. And I was like, oh, okay. So luckily for us, it's not too bad. Really, the big thing for me, and I can speak for my teammates, is the running records and the text level assessment. We're really hoping to see a lot of growth with that. So that's really kind of where our focus is on our end of the year testing with our kids.
Danielle wants to know how you start to prepare for a successful beginning of the next year, such as organizing, planning.
Well, the first thing that we do as a team is we sit down in May and we plan for the next year. So we have what we call it a big picture, and it basically has planned out the whole year in 2-week units. And within those 2 weeks, we've planned out the unit, some ideas for books, the sight words, the math skill, the literacy skill, what we're doing for writing and art and craft ideas, and then the snacks for those 2 weeks. So that keeps us, so we are already going into the new year, we already have an idea of what our year looks like. That last year was the first time we did that, coming into this year, made a tremendous difference. And I actually posted that big picture on my Facebook page if you want to grab it and look at it. So that's big. Then a lot of it is just reading, thinking about things that work, things that didn't work. How do you want to set up your room? Do you want to make changes to that? I'm always looking for new read alouds and new activities, especially for names. Planning, working on procedures. I'm big on classroom management procedures, routines. Those are huge. But having that big picture has really taken a lot of that stress off of us and off of me, because it's nice to know ahead of time what I'm doing, so I can kind of focus on tweaking the little things and making little changes here and there to make the year go better.
Kind of along those same lines, Kenna says that she's been chosen to be on a team that does curriculum for her grade level over the summer. She wants to know if you have any tips.
Think outside of the box, and I know that can be hard and scary, but look at the standards, look at what your district is requiring, and think outside of the box. Look for some activities and lessons and strategies that are a lot more hands-on, using a lot of manipulatives. Do a lot of research ahead of time before you go into the meetings, so that you have a lot of ideas and things to share and discuss. And if it's something that's outside of the box and maybe a little different, you could even have some research to back it up. We all know if we're going to do something, we've got to have that research to back it up. So that's a big tip. Go in with your ideas, but go in with research to back it up. Pinterest is great, blogs are great, Instagram, Facebook, they're all phenomenal for new ideas and things to try. So yeah, definitely lots of research to back up whatever you want to do.
Felicia has a question and wants to know how you deal with students constantly chatting while you're teaching.
Oh, we had a discussion about this today. I have a little friend who I'm pretty sure has spoken 11,329,716 words this year. His end of the year award will be the most words spoken in a kindergarten year. So I feel your pain, but the way that I run my classroom most of the time, they're talking anyway. So it's not not something I deal with a lot, and it's not something I really make a big deal about. But we talk a lot about respectful listeners and what that looks like and sounds like. And so when I'm ready to teach, or when I'm reading to them or talking to them, and I'll say to them, okay, I need my respectful listeners. And they know, okay, this is when we need to kind of put our bubbles in, look at Mr. Greg, put our hands in our lap. Even during morning meeting, when we're sharing and the kids are sharing out, we know respectful listening means we put our hands in our lap, our bubbles are in, and we're looking at that person who's talking. And so our rule number 2 in our classroom is raise your hand for permission to speak. And so if they're getting chatty when I'm trying to teach, or when we're talking or I'm reading, I'll just put up a number 2 and they'll get quiet. And also another trick, and I've talked about this a lot, is the wireless doorbell. If you don't have one, go to Walmart tomorrow, go to Lowe's tomorrow, go to Home Depot and get yourself one. $10. The actual bell itself plugs into an outlet. The button is wireless, so you carry it with you. Mine is glued onto a clothespin, so I just have it clipped to me. Anytime I need them to get quiet, I touch that button, the doorbell rings, they stop, they put their hands on their lap, their bubbles go in, and they look at me. So that's a big, big help. So that's definitely something to try and to look into. It's a matter of training them to respond to the doorbell, but it doesn't take long. And we all know they'll work for a Skittle. So I'm not above my friends who are listening quietly, gets a Skittle, and then everybody else gets quiet and listens. But I feel your pain with the chatty Cathy's, because I've got the leader of the chatty Cathy's.
Well, we're about 15 minutes into tonight's live session. So just a quick reminder, if you've not gone to the kindergartensmorgasboard.com yet and entered for tonight's giveaways, please do so right away so that you can get your name entered. There's going to be multiple drawings tonight. Mr. Greg has shown you one of the shirts from teachershirts.com that's going to be in our giveaway tonight. And I'm going to do something I very rarely do, but I'm wearing one as well. It says pre-K, as so last year, kindergarten rocks.
It's true.
So be sure to check out that website and stick around for the drawing tonight. And also, I just want to remind you that I know you're asking Mr. Greg the questions and he's answering, but please be sure to share in the chat as well with each other, because this is all about collaboration as well. So you can probably hear the doodles having a fit in the background.
Somebody walked by, the wind blew, a bug hit the window. Lulu is imagining things, so she's barking at them.
Well, let's get back to the questions, and then I'm going to go check on the doodles while you're answering this next question.
Okay.
Make sure everything's okay. But Kara says that she watched your video on your blog, and she noticed that many of the students are doing individualized centers. Is that on a daily basis, or do you have them work with partners at times as well?
Most of the time, they are working on their own individually. That's just the way our centers are set up and run. But they are free to work together if they choose to. Some days I'll have kids working in groups of 2 and 3 at a center, and I'm totally okay with that, as long as you're working and not playing and goofing off. But most of the time they choose to work independently on their own. And so it's not something, I don't push that, and I don't argue it and make it an issue. If they want to be on their own, great. If you want to work with a partner, I'm okay with that too. So that's kind of their choice. And they tend to gravitate off to working on their own more often than not.
So Rebecca says that she watched your GoPro videos this week. Sounds like a lot of people are really into the videos this week. And she wants to know how your kiddos do with the transition from working on the floor in kindergarten to using desks or tables and chairs in first grade.
I get so many questions about the no desks and no tables. So this is my first year of doing this. So, it will be good to see them go into first grade and see how they handle sitting at the desks and the tables and the chairs. But I've always made the argument that when we're in guided reading in our classroom, they're sitting in chairs, and they transition to those chairs and sit at the table with me just fine. When they go to art and music, they're sitting in chairs, and we've had no issues at all. And lunch, they're sitting in chairs at tables, and again, no issues at all. So I think it's just kind of a natural thing for them. I don't foresee like them going into first grade and all losing their minds and forgetting how to work and sit at chairs and tables. It'll be interesting to see, and of course, I could totally be wrong, and they could, end up on their heads. But I'm very confident that it will be a smooth, seamless transition because they are getting time in chairs at tables in other areas of the school, and even in our classroom with guided reading. So I think it will be a smooth, seamless transition.
Katie Grace wants to know what software you use for your videos.
I use iMovie. I have a Canon Rebel T3i camera that I use, and I usually just set it up on a tripod in my classroom. And then, of course, we have the GoPro, which is the newest thing that we have. And so I drop them into iMovie, and that's how I make my videos. And then, of course, iMovie, it just uploads them directly to YouTube. So, and, they're just simple. I'm not an expert. I'm a teacher with a camera and an iMovie, the iMovie software. So, I think I wish more people would have the ability to share classroom videos and to post videos. I think there's so much we can learn from watching each other. And let me just say, the GoPro has been a great tool for me because, even with 13 kids in my class, I can't be everywhere every second hearing everything that goes on. And so when they're wearing that GoPro and I sit down to work on the videos, I get to see and hear a lot of things that I don't normally get to see and that I would miss. And so it's been a great tool for me as a reflection piece to look back at those videos and be like, oh, okay, so they're doing this, or oh, they're talking like this, or oh, well, this is something we need to address. So that's been a tremendous tool, and the kids are fascinated by the GoPro all day long. It's my turn. Can I wear it? Can I put it on? Can I wear it? So we have a video from the zoo today.
I can't wait for that.
I'll let, yeah, it's going to be fantastic, I'm sure. So I'll definitely be getting that one posted soon. But so yeah, just iMovie, just very simple, nothing high tech here.
So we have some people asking about your move to your new school. They want to know if you're excited about it or what are you most looking forward to?
I am very excited about it. But I'm also very nervous, and it's also very bittersweet. I love my school. I work at a very small school, and so it's very much a family where we are. And of course, my TBFF is right next door to me, and she totally gets me, and I totally get her, and we have the most fun. And so it was a very, very, very difficult decision. It took me a couple of weeks to come to a decision. I spent a lot of time talking to the mister and discussing our family and what's coming for us. And so at the end of the day, I had to do what was best for our family and for me professionally. And so, we all know the value of a great leader. And so I just could not go with my principal. But leaving my TBFF is going to be hard. But I'm excited. I love a challenge. The new school is 3 times the size of my current school. So there are going to be 8 kindergarten classes as opposed to 4. So I'm excited. The population is different. It'll be a larger EL population. So I'm excited about that. That will really push me to be a better teacher. I'm super duper excited about a big giant classroom that's not a puzzle piece. And I know everybody always talks about my big classroom. It's really not big. It looks big because of the way I film it, the way I photograph it, and when I use the GoPro, the way the GoPro film, it makes it look gigantic. But I promise you, it's little, and it's not even a square. It's a puzzle piece. If you ever come to my room, you're like, oh yeah, it is little, and oh yeah, it is a puzzle piece. So I'm super excited for a big room that's a square, that has a storage closet, and actual cabinets, and an actual sink in the classroom that will make our cooking and science stuff so much better. So again, it's bittersweet. I'm very excited. It's 10 minutes from home. It won't be the extended day, so I'll be back to a shorter day.
How many students will you have?
I'll probably average at the school right now is 16 to 18. So a few more than what I had this year.
I think people are glad about that. Multiple people have asked in the chat if you're just going to have 13 students.
No, it'll probably be 16 to 18. And next year, if I were going to be at my current school, we were going to have about 16 to 18. So definitely a few more students, but I'm excited. Now I just have to pack and move. But I get to set up a whole new classroom, and I can finally get out of all of the puppets that are taking over our attic.
So are you going to continue your no tables, no desk in your classroom at your new school?
Absolutely. No tables, no desks. The new classroom is half carpet and half tile. So that works out even better, I think, for no tables, no desks. But absolutely. And when I look at those big square rooms, I'm like, wow, no tables and desks in here will give us so much room to do a lot of cool, fun stuff. So I'm excited.
Another question coming from a video. Jacqueline says that she saw in one of your videos that your students were using CVC cards that were laminated with boxes for each letter. Where did you get those?
Those came from my What Does the Fox Say CVC word creation. It's on TPT. I have the What Does the Fox Say for letters and sounds, CVC words, CVCE words, ending sounds, middle sounds, blends. And then what I've also done on TPT is I put it all together in a big bundle, which will save you a little bit of money. But the one you saw in the video was the CVC word. What does the Fox say? CVC edition.
So some questions about reading and writing. Actually, a question also about research journals that you've been using. One of the questions is, how do you find out what level your students are reading on? And then what have been the benefits that you've seen from using your research projects in your classroom?
For the reading levels, our district this year switched to Fountas and Pinnell. So we use their leveling, their text level assessment stuff. So our kids, the goal is to be on a D at the end of the year. So most of our kids in the middle of the year were about at an A or a B. So they have to be on a D at the end of the year. So that's how that's the system that we use. As far as the research journals and the research product creations and research projects that we do, those have been phenomenal. I know, Common Core is big on research and writing with your kids. And that can be hard and tricky with 5-year-olds. They're not reading a lot of stuff independently, and so it's hard to bring in the research. And so when I decided to this year to take that leap and try to do some more research with them and pull in that writing, I wanted it to be something that would simplify that process and make it accessible to everybody in my class. And so that's why I started doing these research projects and our research journals. And so the research part comes from our read alouds. And, sometimes we'll watch videos on YouTube or other websites. And then we talk about what we've learned, and that's where we get our research. And then we record all of that research on our anchor charts and thinking maps. And then they can take that and use that to do the writing part in their notebook. For a lot of them, they're copying information from the chart into their notebook. And then there's some writing pieces where they take that information and that new learning and they put it into some writing. And so they're able to transfer that to some writing. But I love the research projects. We have a blast with them. They're really engaging. The kids love them. They love learning about this stuff, and they love, the schema map, seeing all of their new learning. They love having those research journals that they fill it up, and over time it gets worn and it's well used. And so we talk a lot about being scientists and becoming experts on something. And so when they finish those journals, they're so proud of them because they get to be an expert in something. And so just, the anchor charts, the thinking maps, the read alouds for the research really make that accessible and has made it possible to do some really thorough research and writing and meeting those Common Core standards, which a lot of people find daunting and overwhelming in kindergarten. So, that's why I started creating these research projects, was to make it easier for us as teachers to give our students that opportunity to become experts in these areas.
So we've got some people talking about the research projects. What do you think if we put those on sale tonight, like
Absolutely.
for 25% off? Or we can do 25% off.
Yeah.
25% off for the next 24 hours. And it's just for the people that are here tonight on submissions for Smorgie. So if you go to the Teachers Pay Teachers store, there will be a link on the left-hand side in the Kindergarten Smorgasboard store. It's called Research Projects. Click on that link, and I will go in and put all of those at 25% off the regular price. So if you want to try some research projects this year, toward the end of the year, if you want to try some for next year, you can grab one for a discounted price and see what you think about them. So I'll do that as soon as submissions ends tonight. I'll go in and make those. But again, it's just for the people that are here tonight, so don't go tell everybody.
Also, I can't see what time it is, but make sure you go to the blog and enter for the giveaways. We've got 2 gift certificates to teachershirts.com, a year to ESGI, the online assessment tool, and $25 to my TPT store. So make sure you head over to the kindergartensmorgasboard.com and get entered.
Here's a great question. The first time I've seen this come up since we've been doing these, and I think it's awesome. Jean wants to know, what are some of your favorite blogs to follow?
Ooh.
Isn't that good?
That is good. I like that. I'm a big fan of Kinder Craze. I'm ultra jealous of her organization. So Kinder Craze is a great one. Time for Kindergarten is a great one. Trying to think of some others. There's so many. They're all so good. Primary Press is a good one. Kinder Glitter Girls is a new one, and they have really good ideas and they're hilarious. Teacher to the Core is actually a first grade blog, but it's another one that I love. Growing Firsties is another first grade blog, but I use a lot of their ideas. Trying to think what else. Some other good ones. There's so. I mean, we all know there's so many, and they're all so good. My TBFF has a blog, and I actually get her to post on it every now and then. And so the Hartman Sparkle is a good blog when she posts something. And I know she's watching tonight, so that's me pressuring her to blog more. Yeah, so those are some good ones. If you're really looking for some organizational ideas, somebody asked about that earlier. Kinder Craze is a great blog for organization. And I'm also ultra jealous of her photography skills. I don't know how she gets her pictures to look that good, but I'm very jealous of that.
So Loving the Mommy Life asks, have you ever had a split grade class? She'll be entering her second year teaching with half split. She has no idea how to begin planning. Do you have any suggestions?
Wow. I've actually seen this come up a lot. I've had several people comment on Facebook and stuff that they have like a K1 split or a pre-KK split. So I've never had that. My first thought, just off the top of my head with that, would be when your centers and small group instruction are really key. I think you would try to maybe minimize some whole group instruction time. Keep it as small as possible, but really use your small groups and your centers to really differentiate and meet everybody's needs. And I think a lot of it will depend on your levels, because if you have let's say you have a K1 split, if you have a high group of kindergartners and a low group of first grade, that would go well together. But we all know we get kids from reading on a fourth grade level to barely writing their name. So my first thought and my best piece of advice for that is small groups and centers to really differentiate and meet those needs. But maybe somebody in the chat tonight has experience with that, and they can reach out to you and give you some more advice. Good luck. I would love to hear more about it and see how it goes. I'm very curious about that.
So all kinds of people are starting to ask. It's been going through this entire night, actually, people asking about your book study this summer.
Oh, yeah.
Wanting to know what the book is, when it's going to start, how it's going to work. Just want you to talk about it.
Okay, so a while back I posted a question if anybody would be interested in doing a book study this summer. And I had 2 books in mind. I have this one, which I'm very curious about. And then there was this one, Teaching with Intention. And this is the book that people were really excited about. And so I'm going to attempt to host a book study this summer. It'll start probably in the, I'm shooting maybe for the first week in June to do the first post in the first chapter. And so the way it's going to work is there will be, each week we'll do a chapter, and there will be a blogger or bloggers who will host that chapter on their blog. And so on their blog, on that day, they will post about the chapter, and they'll have some guiding questions. And so there are going to be several ways that you can participate. You can participate by commenting on those blog posts. And other bloggers who are reading the book and involved in the book study you can comment on their posts about that chapter. And I expect a lot of it will happen on my Facebook page. So each week when we read the chapter and the questions get posted on the blog that's hosting that week, and we'll post the questions on my Facebook page to really get the conversation going, to get ideas out there, to collaborate and come up with things to make us better next year. And so the book is called Teaching with Intention by Debbie Miller. It's available on Amazon. I think it was like $15. You can go to my Facebook page. There's a Google form that you can access and sign up. And I'll be sending out an email next week with a little bit more of the details and how it's going to work and what we're going to do. But really, it's just a way for us to all come together to read the same book and talk about it, talk about how it applies to us, what we're going to do better, and really just a way for us to grow and come together over the summer and help each other become better. I've never hosted a book study. I've done a few of them before, but I've never been the host and set it up. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be fun, and it'll be an adventure for everybody.
Are you going to do it on your Kindergarten Smorgasboard page or on the Greg Smedley-Warren page?
It'll be on the Kindergarten Smorgasboard Facebook page. Yeah.
Okay.
On the Kindergarten Smorgasboard Facebook page. And then each week I will share the link to the blogger who's hosting that week. And, most of it will happen through the Facebook page. But there will be lots of blog posts and, lots of ways to participate. Like I said, first time doing this, so we'll figure this out together.
All right, so getting back to some more classroom-related questions. Holdaway says, what have you found to be the most effective way to communicate with parents on a regular basis?
For me, the most effective thing that I have found is an app called Remind. It's free. You can download it for iPhones or for your Android phones. The way it works is that you create an account, and parents, they sign up, and you're able to send out little text messages to the parents who have signed up. The trick is that you don't see their phone number and they don't see your phone number. So you're able to text message them without anybody ever seeing phone numbers. So it keeps you private and gives you a little bit of that security. But they've recently added a new feature, which I love, and the parents who use it have raved about it too. It's an actual chat feature, and it's a private chat. So if I want to reach out to a parent privately, I can use that Remind app and initiate a chat with them, and we can talk privately. And it's just between me and that parent. So I can send out a text to all of the parents in my classroom and say, hey, tomorrow's hat day. Everybody wear a hat. But if I need to reach out to Dogpound's mom and say, hey, Dogpound, did this today, or Dogpound had a great day today, I can also do that privately with just that one parent. And we all know, everybody has their cell phone with them. Everybody is texting. So Remind is a great way to keep in touch. And it's even better now that there's two-way communication. So that's a phenomenal tool, and that's how I do it. And it's made a big difference in our parent communication in my classroom.
323 wants to know what assignments or activities do you use to grade for your students' grades. 323 thinks that they remember you saying that you don't require your students to turn in their center recording sheets. So just curious what else you use for your grades.
Right. So their center work is not graded. That's just practice, additional practice. So a lot of times we will have a ticket to centers. And so that will be, if we've done a mini lesson on adding, they might have a practice page where they have to do some adding and they'll turn that in. So that's one way. We also get, we have to do common formative assessments. So we do a CFA every Friday, reading and math. And so those are where we get a lot of our grades. And then writing, of course, we do take grades on our writing. The research journals and those research projects we talked about give a lot of grades, a lot of writing grades, a lot of science and social studies grades. And then, so the ticket to centers and the CFAs are where a lot of the grades come from. But yeah, their center work is just, it's keeps them accountable, but it's not for a grade.
Holdaway is asking what you found is the most, oh, I'm sorry, I already asked that one. Sorry about that. So you were talking about your research journals earlier, and talking about writing. So what program do you follow for writing?
I actually use Writing Throughout the Year. It's by Deanna Jump and Dee Dee Wills. They have 8 units, I believe, 8 different writing units, so kind of covers the whole year. And I love it. Deanna shared it with me 2 years ago or a year ago, because I was struggling with writing and like I felt like a complete failure when it came to teaching writing. And she shared that with me, and it has made a tremendous difference. Last year I started with it in February and kind of skipped through it a little bit, and just from February till May last year, the improvement in my kids' writing was phenomenal. So this year we started in September, and we've worked through the units all year long, and most of 95% of my kids can write paragraphs and books, and it's phenomenal. What I love about their units is that it's very step-by-step, very detailed, gives you lots of ideas for read alouds. It gives you, it's not a scripted program, of course, but it gives you some ideas for things to say and how to word things that you might not think of. But big fan of that. It's called Writing Throughout the Year. And I've also started doing a little bit of reading with Lucy Calkins. I know a lot of people are big Lucy Calkins fans, so I'm also looking at Lucy Calkins and incorporating some of that into my writing. But if you're looking for a place to start, check out Writing Throughout the Year from Deanna and Dee Dee on TPT.
Do you have any parent volunteers in your classroom?
Nope, just me. Luckily though, if we need something, my parents have been very good this year about providing something. And every week I have a lady come in and bring her therapy dog, and he's our reading buddy. So every week she comes in and the kids get to read to her dog. And so today when we went on the field trip, she came as our chaperone. So I don't have parent volunteers in my classroom, but we have pretty good parent support. And I do have Lee who helps out when we need it. And of course she's there every week with her little dog Bear.
So I've got a question here from, hold on just a second, I'm trying to get back to it. From Valerie again, and I already know the answer to this question because and how you, how big you are on centers. But she wants to know if you think that hands-on centers with pieces to use are better than just worksheets or workbooks for engagement, enjoyment, and study progress, or student progress.
Yes. Get rid of the workbooks and the worksheets.
That's something Mr. Greg is really big on. That's how I already knew the answer.
I wish my district and all districts would stop spending millions of dollars on workbooks. We don't need them. We don't want them. Give me that money. You know how much ink I could buy with that money? Absolutely. Anytime that will get their hands in there and get them engaged and working and building and manipulating and writing is far better than any black and white worksheet. Worksheets drive me crazy. There's a time and a place for them, and I use them sometimes in my classroom, but you want your centers to be as fun and engaging and as academic as you can make them, because you want your kids to be engaged and focused so that they're learning and not causing behavior issues and being disruptive, because you want to be able to do your one-on-ones and your small group and your guided reading and your assessments. Absolutely. The more hands-on and engaging they are, the better. I find that even changing out just the simple clip art picture, the kids are like, oh, it's a brand new center. And really it's not. It's still adding, but instead of a flamingo, it's a peacock. But yes, you hands-on, engaging, manipulating the pieces, manipulating the letters, the numbers. The more hands-on you can make it, the better. Get rid of the worksheets, get rid of the workbooks. At the beginning of the year, they bring us that giant stack of workbooks and math workbooks and reading workbooks. They go in the backpacks and go home at the beginning of the year. I don't need them, don't want them. So yeah, hands-on, get rid of the workbooks. And don't forget, we can't call them centers. We have to call them hippopotamuses.
Lauren wants to know, how do your students master fluently add and subtract to 5?
What we do, so our district sets up, we have pacing guides, and we actually introduce adding and subtracting within the first 9 weeks of school. Of course, it's very basic and very concrete. I have one. I have one more. How many do I have? I have 2. I got rid of 1. How many do I have? And so we're actually building on addition and subtraction all year long. Starting in April, what we do to really push that fluency is we start doing timed math tests. So we'll start with 5-minute addition tests, and we'll do about, I think it's 30 problems, and they have 5 minutes. And then we'll do that for about a week or so, and then we'll go down to 3 minutes. And we'll do that for about a week or so, and then we'll go down to 1 minute. And then they're pretty fluent with adding to 5. And then we'll do that same process with subtraction. And what I'll do next week, as we wrap up the school year, is it will be 5 minutes, 30 problems, but it's mixed addition and subtraction to kind of kick it up a notch. But the kids love those time tests. If we forget or if I skip it for a day, they're like, hey, we want to do our test. Why didn't we do our test? And we actually graph their data in their little data notebook so they can see if they are growing and if they beat their score from the day before. And that's one thing. We don't make a big deal about finishing the test. It's not about getting finished. It's about doing one more than you did yesterday or almost getting there. So that's how we do it, the time math test. And we make it a lot of fun. And so it's not a lot of pressure for them, and they enjoy it, and it's made a big difference.
Do you use papers for recording, or you just put it in protective sheets and use it over and over again?
We use paper. I make the copies, and we use the paper.
How do you make sure that students are working on their hippopotamuses and not just playing around or gazing into La La Land?
A lot of that is expectations. They know that if that's what they're expected to do, and if they're not, then they're gonna have a consequence. What I do is I'll give you a warning. Hey, get to work. And if I have to say it again, you actually have to put up your center. And if it's during math, you have to get a blank 100 chart and write to 100. And if it's during reading, they have to stop and do sight words and write sight words. So they're still learning, still academic, but they're not doing the fun centers. And so a couple of times of that, and we pretty much stay on track. And there are times when if things aren't going well at centers, we'll stop. We'll come to the carpet, we'll have a conversation about what's happening, and we'll go back. So don't be afraid to stop. Pull everybody together and be like, hey, what's going on? How can we fix this, and how can we make it better?
Elizabeth is a first-year kindergarten teacher, and she's found that it takes a very, very long time to create hands-on centers.
Yes.
Is there a system in creating hands-on centers?
I do mine in Keynote and PowerPoint, and it just takes time. And as you get better at it, it'll get easier. And the good thing is that as you do it, and as you create them and make them and store them, you build up a nice supply. Yeah, it's time consuming, but it's worth it. And as you build up over the years, it gets a lot easier.
How often do you change out your centers?
Every couple of weeks, I'll pull some out and put some new. Holidays and themes, we'll change them out. And then about once a month, I'll wipe everything out and start all over. All right, guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up a little bit early. So I'm gonna step out for just a second, and I'll be back in just a second. Jason will keep chatting, and we'll do our giveaway in just a second. So we'll be right back.
So
I'm back. Sorry about that.
We have a question from the Hartman Sparkle that wants to know, what are your must-haves in a teacher planner binder?
Oh, teacher planner binder, my must-haves. I'm a big fan of monthly calendars that when you open it, it's like 2 pages side by side. I like a place for notes. I like a somewhere to do weekly, write down stuff for the week. To-do lists are great. Contact information maybe for parents. But really for me, I don't use a teacher planner. I do all of my lesson plans on the computer, and you see them on my website. But my biggest thing is having the month there, because I like to be able to write things down and kind of look at the month at a glance. So for me, that's what I like. But I hope maybe some people in the chat can share what they would like to see in one, and what helps them. But I'm a big fan of just having the month there in front of me.
Do you have any type of clothes center or anything like that for clothes that may be needed when accidents occur throughout the day? Or how do you handle those situations?
Oh, like oops.
Yeah, clothes.
Yeah, no, we have a family resource center in our school that's funded by the United Way. And so we have access to clothing and stuff in there. And luckily for us, it's right down the hallway from where we are. So if we have an accident or something, they can just run down the hallway. And that's very nice to have. That way we don't have to ask parents to send in extra clothes and stuff. So it's really nice to have that family resource center right there if we do have accidents.
All right, last question. Do you have any suggestions for someone getting ready to enter their student teaching?
Student teaching. Don't buy a house when you're student teaching. That's never fun. Really take it in. Watch what the teacher's doing. Really get involved early on. My student teaching experience was crazy different than everybody else's. I planned my my schedule and my graduation so that I would student teach in the fall. And I think if you can do that, seeing that first day of school is amazing. So I was student teaching in the fall. The teacher who's my supervisor, within a couple of days, had me involved in the classroom, and within a week had me already teaching lessons. And then about 3 weeks into student teaching, she was diagnosed with cancer and left for the rest of the semester. And so the school district brought in a sub who was about 97, and she sat in the back and read her books and took naps. And so I didn't have student teaching necessarily. I had teaching for a whole semester. So get involved, really do as much as you can. Ask lots of questions. And then another key is take time to go and observe other classrooms and all different grades to really get a feel of how things work. But really, it's a phenomenal learning experience. Soak it in and get involved and have fun, and really try to see other people and learn as much as you can. And if you can do it in the fall, that is the best way to do it, because there's nothing like seeing the first day of school and seeing how that goes that will make your life so much easier in the future.
All right, are we ready to do the first giveaway?
We are. Let's give away.
Let's start with the teachershirts.com gift certificate.
Okay.
We've got 2 of those, right?
Yes, we'll give away 2 of those.
So again, you have to be present here to win. So when Mr. Greg calls your name, please be sure to talk to me in the chat. Let me know that you're here. We'll have your email address because that's how you entered. We'll email you, but we will not email you unless you actually let me know here in the chat that you are present and that you are the winner.
All right. Our first winner for the $10 gift certificate to teachershirts.com is Hannah Esparza. I hope I'm saying that right. Your email is miss.hannahjoy. If you're here, Hannah, say something quickly to Jason in the chat so that we'll know you're here. And congratulations. You won a $10 gift certificate to teachershirts.com. And what we'll do is we'll contact you and get some information from you, and we'll send it on to them, and they'll get you your gift certificate. So Hannah Esparza, you won $10 to teachershirts.com.
All right, we're ready to do
the next
teacher shirts.
For the second teachershirts.com, the winner is Stephanie Cartner-Derrick. Your email is sderrick80. If you're in the chat, say hey to Jason. And again, we'll contact you and get some information from you, and I'll forward your information to Teacher Shirts, and they'll send you your gift certificate. So Stephanie and Hannah, congratulations. You won $10 to teachershirts.com.
Stephanie, I got you. I'll be
Stephanie,
emailing you. Or I'm sorry, Hannah. I got you.
Hannah.
I'm just waiting for Stephanie.
Okay. Next up, we'll do ESGI. If you don't know ESGI, it's an online web-based assessment tool. You can create your own assessments, and it's all done right there on the computer. The kids answer, you click, and it gives you their data, gives you letters to send home to parents, personalized flashcards. I can do my entire report card assessment for every standard in one day with all my kids. It's that easy. So much less stressful, so much easier. ESGI is phenomenal. If you want it, you want to try it, you can do a 60-day free trial, and you can go to my blog and sign up on the resources page. You can click on ESGI. And if you decide that you want to buy it, it's $200. But if you sign up through my blog, you get a $50 discount. So ESGI is phenomenal. And the winner for that is Monica Larry. So Monica, L-A-R-E. If you're here, your email is Mo Collins. Make sure to say hey to Jason.
How do you spell that last name?
L-A-R-E.
Okay.
And The winner for $25 to my TPT store is Jean Hahn. Hey, Jean. I know Jean. Jean always gives me great ideas for stuff to make my creations better. And I know Jean is here. So there you go. Those are our winners. Make sure you all say hey to Jason in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You guys are phenomenal. You make me better every day. So does everybody want to do this again next month in June? Say hey to Jason in the chat. Let us know. We'll stay up. We'll keep it live for a couple more minutes. So make sure all the winners, Hannah, Stephanie, Monica, and Jean, you say something to Jason in the chat. We'll get
I got Hannah. I got Stephanie. I'm waiting for
Monica.
Oh, I got Monica.
All right, we're waiting on Jean. And don't forget, if you're interested in the research projects, we'll put those on sale. Give us about 30 minutes to get those, put on sale. And again, thank you guys. If you want to do this again over the summer, next month, we will be here. So have a great end of the school year. You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Email addresses to